On today's show, we take a walk through Burial Hill, visit a Habitat for Humanity build site, learn about the Plymouth Area Coalition for the Homeless, hear original poetry from Chris Zaremba, and talk about upcoming things to do in our South Shore towns. Let's get started. Since 1985, the dedication of the Plymouth Area Coalition for the Homeless to social justice and compassion has empowered independence in families and individuals seeking basic needs. In this, our final Telly's episode, we bring you the Silver Award winner for charitable organizations. Here's Plymouth Area Coalition on the local scene.
So in 1985, a group of concerned citizens in the town of Plymouth, greater Plymouth actually, became aware of an excessive number of families and individuals that were living in the state forest, as well as in their cars throughout town. So they mobilized, and what started as a very grassroots organization to address the needs of homeless families has then developed and grown both in size and scope to include several programs. You know, simply put, the mission is really to provide shelter and basic needs support, including food, to individuals and families throughout the greater Plymouth area. We cover 22 communities. We like to believe that our programs all are centered around providing social justice and always delivered with a great deal of compassion. And that's what we work toward, and we hope that we do effectively. There are many reasons why people find them in this situation, that they need emergency assistance shelter, changing economic conditions, and all of a sudden, abruptly, you find yourself in need of housing. Unfortunately, a great number of people have poor credit or no credit. So finances and economic conditions, unexpected illness certainly can cause problems. Sudden job loss, we saw that just recently with COVID, where so many people, all of a sudden, they just found themselves without any income. And no matter what programs the state and the federal government could put forward, it still resulted in homelessness and greater need for many, many people.
You know, obviously before COVID, everybody's working like crazy. We happened to run into an issue where we were renting and the owner needed the apartment for himself. So at that point we were out. You know, my family and I were trying to figure out our own situation, and then my son's mother got hospitalized and passed away. So with that and COVID all together, finances get a little tough. Becoming a single parent, not easy. So here we are.
In the middle of COVID, I was not able to meet my rent. Because of COVID, I was not removed from my apartment right away. I actually stayed there for almost a year with rent still building up that I couldn't pay. I was evicted from my apartment as soon as the restrictions lifted. And actually, I didn't get into here right away. We were in hotels and staying with different people, and it was really a rough time. But I was really glad when we finally got accepted to come here. I was grateful that it was in an area that I was familiar with, so that I could continue to do the things that I needed to do. My kids were able to stay in their local schools, which was really important to me.
Well, everything started with the pandemic. It was diabetes, and also I have high blood pressure. So I stopped working because I was very high risk. When everything started to go down and slow, the rent is expensive, so stopped working, and then I separated with the partner I have. So for a single mother with 3 kids, it was hard to keep up with everything. The rent is way too expensive and impossible, and then I become to live with my son and families. Sometimes they hear friends, and so I decided, well, it's time for me to get something real, not being here and there. And I hear about a lot about the shelters, and it was really scary at the beginning. It was good that I did, that I called and I'm here now. At least it's a place where you can go.
And without question, the elephant in the room certainly is housing is unaffordable. The housing wage is over $36 an hour. Not everyone can work. You can be disabled. And now you're on SSI. Your income is very limited. And how do you afford rents? Our job, first and foremost, as an EA shelter, is to help our families identify housing. And we take it a step further and really want to be sure that it's self-sustainable. We're fortunate we live in a state that has recognized this for a good long time, but with growing, especially on the South Shore, tremendously difficult to identify an apartment. But the team here at the Coalition is definitely dedicated to really working and trying to help everyone overcome those obstacles and identify a place for their family.
The case manager that was here at the time found a program that was a pilot program that they were just starting, and me and my family were accepted into the program, which got us a voucher really quickly. And I was just so grateful that this came across, and I applied right away. I made sure that I turned in every follow-up thing, but then the searching of the apartment was really difficult. Or if I went to a showing, it would be, oh, well, your application one of, 50, or I'd go to a showing and it would be, you're the 20th person we've had here for the showing today. And that really, it made it very difficult because there were so many people that could apply for these apartments. Now, I was looking at private apartments, but everywhere I went, there were so many people that wanted these apartments. A lot of them were even willing to pay more than the asking. And yeah, it made it really difficult to find a place. I've looked for a long time.
The EA shelter program is definitely a wonderful opportunity for families that find themselves homeless. That said, it is a program, and we talk about that all the time. There are expectations and responsibilities. The head of the household is responsible to make sure that their assigned chore is taken care of on a daily basis. There are curfews. You're sharing, it's congregate living. So you have rights and responsibilities, but we also want you to respect the rights and responsibilities of everyone else that's here. Yes, it's a program, but it's a program designed to help these people, these individuals, move forward and really be out and take care of their families themselves, and that's what they want. That's really what they want.
Overall, it hasn't been bad at all. They give you more access to services. Obviously, it's a safe place for my kid, low hassle, and again, anything we need, all we have to do is ask. It makes moving forward a little easier. My biggest concern right now is housing near my son's school. He has autism. He's been in a special ed program since kindergarten. He's 11 now, he's in 6th grade. And with all the, trauma he's gone through and all the crazy stuff in our lives, the biggest thing is keeping him in that educational circle for his own mental stability. So they're trying to help me find apartments and rental assistance and everything up in that direction to keep him in the most stable environment we can. So that's the biggest thing for, and anything I need, like I said, they helped us apply for public housing assistance, weekly searches. We meet once a week and go through all the housing stuff, which is, again, my biggest issue.
So in addition to providing emergency assistance shelter for homeless families, the Coalition also runs the FAIR program, which is a family and individual resource program, providing clothing, household, and furniture to families and individuals that need those resources. Certainly our food pantry, the Coalition Food Pantry, is a tremendous resource to those people in our community that need support. We also are very proud to operate the Children's Holiday Fund. Children's Holiday Fund provides holiday gifts and winter clothing and holiday meal baskets for over 500 children.
The Coalition offered me, the food pantry and Christmas help and, things like that I wasn't going to be able to do for my children. I really still care about a lot of the residential staff here. They were just kind and caring people who really showed you that you mattered. And that was so important, because when you come into a shelter, your self-esteem can be pretty low at that point. And just for somebody to acknowledge you and say, I see you, I hear you, you're a person.
We want their stay while in shelter to be comfortable. We want to create an environment where, while they're here on a temporary basis, we want them to be able to still enjoy the memory making that all families do with their children. So while we want them to have happiness and share memorable moments while they're here, the idea is not that this is your home. It's a place where you can be safe and where you have people around you that will help ensure that you can keep your family fed, clothed, safe, and that there is a plan so that you can have your own family home.
My family and I have been through worse, unfortunately. Years ago, we hit a similar situation with finances. I was injured. My girl was having trouble finding work, so we're kind of used to the process to a certain extent. It's new with just my youngest and I, but overall, it hasn't been bad. He has a little trouble dealing with other people. His boundaries are a little tough, so I know people get a little frustrated, but everybody's been really gracious with him. They've tried to be as mindful as they could to the situation, so getting along with everybody's relatively simple. Everybody does their own thing.
Sometimes I see people and they are like a worse situation, and they make me think, well, I'm not that, I can do it, I can go up. I just have to do things better, and I can do it myself. It's just there's a little hard because I got 3 kids and I'm a single mother, but I know you can get out of it. They help you getting housing. They'll help you getting in your feet. They will help you. I know it's someone there. There's someone here to help me to do the right thing.
Well, the biggest thing is I want to be somewhere stable for my son and I don't want to depend on everybody else, rooming with family members, doing this, doing that. So I want to get him where he needs to be and figure out our base of operations and build from there. Get working again, get things moving. All you can do is go and go. At least we know we have somewhere to come home to. We don't have to worry about that. You don't have to worry about anything. If, God forbid, you couldn't get food, they'd help you figure it out. If you couldn't get around, they'd do it.
I want to say that the thing that gave me the most hope was, just knowing there had to be something out there for me. There had to be. I'm a Christian woman. My faith is very strong, and that is something that really got me through my time here. And now I'm in this beautiful home. It really was, if anything could have been my dream apartment, this was it. This is absolutely it. I love it there. I'm so happy. I think, you need to really keep that hope alive, because it's a fight. It's a fight to get out of here. It really is. It's a battle, and you really need to be able to cling on to hope.
Anytime you have the opportunity to improve someone else's life, it certainly is a joyful moment. For us, when we can identify housing for a family and they move on, it's wonderful. Across the towns of the South Shore, we receive so much support for our work. The food pantry, just wonderful response from individuals, from organizations, from businesses, foundations, the banks. We couldn't do nearly what we do or make the difference we do in lives if it weren't for the communities all around us. And that's absolute truth. And there but for a cast of thousands, we get to see those joyful moments. But yeah, that I think, anytime you can help anybody, and sometimes the littlest the littlest thing you do for someone means the world to them.
For more information on the many services the Plymouth Area Coalition provides, visit the organization's website or find the coalition on Facebook. Actor, screenwriter, activist, author, and mother, Marianne Leone Cooper has made her mark on the world. Following the theme of Find Your Voice, the Kingston Public Library's summer reading program, the library invites you to an author talk with the inspiring powerhouse herself at the Adams Center on August 2nd. Marianne will discuss her book, Knowing Jessie, A Mother's Story, her tender and searingly honest 2017 memoir honoring the life of her son. Jessie Cooper braved his 17 years living with quadriplegia and severe cerebral palsy, and was an honor roll student, windsurfer, and poet. There will be a Q&A held after the talk. For more information and to register for this event, visit the library's website. From the high-energy capital of Palermo to the scenic hills of Taormina, Sicily is a diverse island of rocky beaches, snowy mountains, and active volcanoes. Travel this magical location virtually with the Pembroke COA. Armchair Travel on August 25th at 11:30 a.m. to Sicily will guide you through the history, culture, terrain, and delicious cuisine of this bellissimo vacation destination. The small admission fee includes a light lunch. Call the COA at 781-294-8220 to register for your spot. Habitat for Humanity of Greater Plymouth is an organization with a simple vision: a world in which everyone has a decent place to live. In this 2020 Bronze Telly Award winner for volunteer recruitment, we feature Habitat's vital work and the generosity and selfless spirit of our community.
I've been involved with nonprofit work here in the Plymouth general community for a number of years, and having joined Habitat this past spring, I can tell you that it is so satisfying, so rewarding to be part of an organization that truly makes transformative change for individual families that will last not only for one generation, but for generations to come.
I look forward to it as soon as I leave here on Saturday, I'm already planning for the next Saturday. What are we going to do? Who's going to be there?
We're out here today building 3 homes for Habitat families, 2 of whom are also veterans, and so we're calling it a combination vet build as well as a Habitat build.
It's always striking whenever, whether it's this project or others, when you put the word out that help is needed, good people just show up, and usually in surprising numbers. So just another example of people helping other people. It's a great thing.
Coming out here today was just amazing. Seeing all these people coming out here to come together to help the veterans in the community and everything, build the houses. I really was overwhelmed.
It makes me feel very powerful, I guess, just seeing all these people have come out to help us and are lending a hand for a good cause.
Volunteering is a great way to give back to the community, but also a great way to be part of something really amazing.
Especially to give back to our brothers and sisters. It's just a great feeling. I just can't do enough for my brothers and sisters in need.
It's gratifying. I have a different feeling than other people. I feel like I'm a human being and I should be helping human beings.
It's very fulfilling. So I love to do volunteer work. I love giving my time to others that need it. And today, the outcome and the volunteer work, it's amazing, it's humbling.
The joy and satisfaction you get out of helping people is more than enough pay. It's more than enough overtime. If we're, to him who much is given, much is expected, and that's what we look at our company.
We absolutely are looking for volunteers to join in the effort to get involved with this incredible work.
If you need to volunteer or want to volunteer, this is a great organization to volunteer for. You have such satisfaction in seeing houses built and people getting a home who really deserve a home. It's such a nice thing.
Come join the fun. It's a wonderful group, very friendly, very open,
If you feel like you don't know enough, you don't have to know anything. They will teach you whatever you need to know.
Thank you very much to everybody.
For more information on Habitat for Humanity of Greater Plymouth, visit hfhplymouth.org or find the organization on Facebook. Accomplished pianist and musical arranger Alexander Wu has performed on stages across the world, and he's coming to Duxbury's Art Complex Museum. On August 6th at 4 p.m., Wu will present an energetic performance of arrangements from his robust repertoire. The concert is free and open to the public as part of the museum's Sunday afternoon concert series. Arrive early. Seating is on a first-come, first-served basis. Visit artcomplex.org for more details. The Town of Pembroke's Senior Tax Work-Off Program offers a reduction in tax bills for seniors in exchange for municipal volunteer fulfillment. Opportunities include volunteerism at the Council on Aging, Conservation Department, and the Recycling Center. Qualified participants will be credited with an hourly rate of $14.25 with a commitment of 25 hours minimum and a maximum of 56.63 hours. Volunteers must be 60 years of age or older and have an income for 2021 that does not exceed $61,000 for a single individual or $92,000 for married couples filing jointly. The application and other criteria can be found on the Town of Pembroke website. Paperwork can be submitted in person to the Pembroke COA or can be sent to COA Director Gretchen Emmets at gemmets@townofpembrokemass.org. Next up, we have poet Chris Zaremba with a reading of her original work.
Our next poet tonight is Chris Zaremba, a performing poet, storyteller, and author of Angel of the Harbor, a Christmas story set in Scituate Harbor. She hosted the Duxbury Poetry Circle and currently hosts the Scituate Poetry Circle. Chris loves to read her poetry wherever people will listen and can be heard later this month at the Poetry Marathon at the Cape Cod Cultural Center. Chris, we are ready to listen.
It's great to be here tonight. Thank you. So my first poem is about why I write. It's called Words. My words refuse to sit quietly in my brain. They play with each other, constantly bantering, especially at night, while they run back and forth across my pillow, held over my ears to quiet their volume. Most days it's useless to ignore them. They rush out of me, down my arms, onto my fingertips, in search for a pen, then onto any willing or even unwilling surface that will allow their creative dance, their ramblings, their rants. A white computer screen, paper hiding in my desk, a leftover napkin, a dusty dashboard, all merely a plaything for my words. My words, they can get me to pull over on the side of the road, to let them jump out, jump up and down, mocking the oncoming traffic, just so they can have their say. My words, there's no holding them back. After a few shots of Jack in a bar, that's unfortunate enough to have an open mic that night. They will show off, shout out, stand under the table, and wow a few drunk people, especially if they are dirty that night. My dirty words, I try to keep those for the bedroom, but sometimes they just slip out. My words, they get me into trouble, and then they talk their way out of it. They'll make you smile. They'll make you reflect. They'll give you comfort. They'll teach you a thing or two. They're powerful creatures. Just looking out at this audience, I can see they got you, and you're hanging on every one of my words. This one is about especially guys who like to do things with their hands. It's called Cleaning My Pipes. He came to clean my pipes today, a toolbox in his hand. I opened my front door to him, a very good-looking man. He followed me to my bedroom. The pipes were beyond that door. He hung his hat upon the hook. He laid his tools upon my floor. I asked if I could watch him work or if he preferred I look away. He smiled, a bad boy smile, and told me I could stay. He began to unscrew the first pipe, his hands so big and strong. A bead of sweat rolled down my face. He asked if something was wrong. Leaning over above the tub, down upon his knees, he asked me to hold his wrench so he could get a tighter squeeze. His arm, it rubbed against my thigh as I held the wrench so tight. The faucet let out a boom. Water gushed with all its might. We laughed to ease the tension as we stood there dripping wet. I handed him a towel, but he had not finished yet. He cleaned my pipes, packed up his tools, and said that was quite an afternoon, and that he'd be back another day to clean my other pipes real soon. This one's called Let Go. He set the pace. She walked the path beside him. It was grass-covered, sometimes rocky. In order to get by the obstacles, they held hands. Those hands held their world. She set the boundaries, he pushed the limits. It was the push and pull of a marriage, the highs and lows and highs again. In order to get by the obstacles, they held each other. Sometimes they held on to hope, sometimes for dear life. He went ahead, she fell behind. It was an unexpected part of their journey. It was a hard lesson to learn. In order to get by, sometimes you have to let go. And in talking about him, he was a musician. This one's called Strings. He always pulled at my heartstrings. He kept one wrapped around his little finger as he fingered the strings on his guitar. He stretched that string to its breaking point when he walked out the door. No strings could bind him, no strings attached, no one to string along. Along the way, one way outside, figuring it out. Living on a string, strumming a tune on the sidewalk as people walked by, barely noticing he was playing real good for free. Free, strapped to a guitar, strung out by a tune, strung out by the devils in his head, heading down the wrong path on a country road in life that twists and turns, but never really brings you back to that long and winding road that leads you home. Homeless, left with one string homeless, left with one string left to strum, the one he kept wrapped around his finger, the one that once held my heart. And this last one, I wrote last night in the darkness. I have notebooks everywhere because it just falls out of me sometimes. So it was dark, and I didn't want to turn the light on to bother my partner. So I scribbled it in the notebook next to my bed, and I didn't know if I was even going to be able to read it when I woke up, but I did. It's called Covers. Sheet, blanket, comforter. In the darkness, he slept. I started my nighttime dance. Covers on, covers off, covers on. Sheet, blanket, comforter. My hands stretched out for the button of the floor fan on my side of the bed. Air. Oh. Sheet, blanket, comforter.
Laugh Out Loud comedy is being served at the Spire Center on August 11th, where national headliner Jim Colleton takes the stage. A frequent performer on the Vegas Strip, cruise ships, and the Boston area, you will recognize Jim from Comedy Central, among others, as he turns real-life situations into hilarious storytelling. Opening acts include Boston star Jimmy Cash and local comedy veteran Joni Grassi Spinazzola. Doors open at 7 p.m. Visit spirecenter.org to purchase your tickets. Historic Burial Hill here in Plymouth is the final resting place for sailors, poets, statespersons, and some of the town's earliest settlers. In this 2020 Bronze Telly Award winner for craft, cinematography, we evoke the voices and lives of those who have walked these hills before us. Here's a walk through Burial Hill.
Nestled on a hillside above Plymouth Harbor is Burial Hill. Sailors, generals, governors, all are equal here. These stones tell the story of lives lived and lost. The Pawtucket tribe lived and died here. Used since the 17th century by earliest European settlers, the last burial on these grounds was in 1959. A peaceful walk, a reflection on the past. And back into the present.
On August 5th, the Pilgrim Hall Museum and the Plymouth Antiquarian Society invite you to take a free tour of Burial Hill with Stephen C. O'Neill, Executive Director of the Hanover Historical Society. Beginning at 1 p.m., Stephen will discuss the early funerals that took place on this historic and fabled site. Visit the Plymouth Antiquarian Society's website or Facebook page for more information. And that's what's good and good to know on the local scene this week. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Thank you for watching. We are grateful for your attention. If you like what you saw, please like and subscribe to The Local Scene here and share everywhere. Thank you, friends.